So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first part of the quiz on Friday, okay? So I would copy this down, copy down the verbal phrase, and then write down your algebraic expression that represents that verbal phrase. Again, you want the verbal phrase and the expression, that way you could have something in your notebooks to study, because the first part of the quiz is going to be almost identical to this. So I'm just going to jump right in and explain these guys. The word quotient means what? That means division. And what are we dividing? 2 and x. 2 and x. I didn't switch the order. Why not? Because in order for us to switch order, we need the words, or we need to identify the word from or than. Remember, subtracted from, more than, less than, greater than. Those imply a switch in order. Number 2, it says 2/3. What does that mean? 2/3, fraction, that's right. 2/3 what? The square of b. So the square of b, if you don't know, I guess we haven't really said this, square means the power of 2. So you're going to put b and you're going to put the power of 2 on it. That right there is 2/3 the square of b. What does the word sum mean? Sum means addition. Do I need to switch any order on sum? No. So what are we adding? We're adding 11 and twice a number. So 11 goes first, twice a number goes second. How do I represent twice a number? 2x or 2n or 2 whatever variable you want. Number 4. It says 9 times a number plus 11. That's as straightforward as it could get. 9 times a number, you could put x or n or whatever variable you want, plus 11 plus 11. That's it. It's straightforward. No tricks. And you could, I guess you don't even need the multiplication sign right there, because if you don't have a sign, it means that you're multiplying. So 9 times 11 plus 12. I mean 9 times 11. 9 times a number plus 11. That was weird. I thought something and my mouth said something different. Number 5. 11 decreased by twice a number. 11 take away 2x, right? There you go. Notice, decreased by, yeah, we know it's subtraction. If I say your age decreased by 2, you're going to put your age first and then you're going to subtract 2, right? So decreased by does not imply a switch in order. It's only when you have the word than or from, that's where you switch the order. Okay, you don't need to write that. But than or from, that's where you switch the order. Like 6 and 7. Number 6, it says subtracted from, which implies a switch in order. So subtracted, that obviously is a subtraction sign. What are we subtracting? This and this. So you're going to switch the order. Put the number first, the x first, and the 1 second. So on number 6, it's really x take away 1. Now, number 7, 89 less than. Well, less means subtract. Than implies a switch in order. And yeah, we are dealing with the 89, which is going to get placed at the back. And we're dealing with the square of a number, which is going to get placed at the front. I hope we understand that. I would definitely review this, watch this video later, so you can be prepared for the first part of the quiz. That's the first part of the week. That's what we did on Monday, or Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday. That's what we're going to be doing on the first part of the quiz. Let's jump to today's stuff, which was PEMDAS. And we already went through all this. The correct order of operations. P is parentheses. And now parentheses don't just look like this. They also look like brackets. Brackets and parentheses are the same thing. And what they tell you to do is zoom in, do any math inside. Okay, so zoom in and do any math inside. So whenever you see parentheses, you zoom in and do whatever math is in there. After P, we have E, exponents. What is exponents? The little number. That little 3 right there, that's an exponent. And what does that little number 3 tell you? It tells you to write the base being multiplied with itself that many times. 2 times 2 times 2, that's going to be a total of 8. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. And then we have multiplication and then division. But notice, guys, I have first, look for parentheses. Second, look for exponents. Third, it's not 3 on M and 4 on D. It's not. It's third, look for multiplication or division. Okay? These guys are worth the same. Multiplication is not more important than division. Division is not more important than multiplication. So I would circle the M and the D and just put, whenever you have multiplication and division, go from left to right. Okay, from left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. That's the last thing you look for, adding or subtracting. Okay? So you don't have to add before subtracting. Sometimes you subtract before adding. It depends what comes first from left to right. And that's exactly what I explained down here on the notes. That when you have multiplication or division, go from left to right. When you have addition and subtraction, go from left to right. Okay. Not only that, on the PEMDAS poster I have in class, we have the M and D in blue to remind you that you look for multiplication or division. Whenever you're faced with both multiplication or division, go from left to right. That's why there's a little arrow down here. Same thing with addition and subtraction. That's why they're the same pattern right here, the white with an outlined red. Addition is not more important than subtraction. Subtraction is not more important than addition. It's whatever comes first from left to right. So that's why, look, P, parentheses. You always look for parentheses first. E, exponents. If there's no parentheses, you move on to exponents. If there's no exponents, you move on to either multiplication or division. Depends what comes first from left to right. And then at the very end, addition or subtraction. So if we understand that and we take a look at number 2, we have both multiplication and division. So like I said, the M and the D are both blue. They're both step 3, right? Or the third thing to look for. Multiplication is not more important than division. Division is not more important than multiplication. So whenever you're faced with multiplication and division, you have to go from left to right. So you do this part first. What's 40 divided by 5? That's 8. And then bring down the times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. And you're done. Anyhow, once again, when you're looking at these, always think of PEMDAS. So you always look for parentheses. Are there parentheses here? No. Is there exponents here? No. Is there multiplication or division? Yes. What is it? It's division. So whenever you're doing these types of problems, I would either box it in, squiggly, underline, circle, I don't know, whatever you want, but identify what operation you're going to be doing, which in this case is division, and then do it. 12 divided by 6 is 2, and then you bring down everything else. The 12 in the front comes down, the plus comes down, the minus and the 4. After that, after multiplication, there's no more multiplication here. We have addition and subtraction. So addition and subtraction just go from left to right. So 12 plus 2, that's 14. 14 minus 4, final answer is 10. Let's look at question 3 over here. What do I do first, according to PEMDAS? Do I have parentheses? No. Do I have exponents? No. Do I have multiplication? Division? Yes. Let's do the division first, right? 10 divided by 5? 2. Bring down the plus, bring down the 5. Then you do the addition. 5 plus 2 is 7. Done. Moving on. Number 4. Do we have parentheses? Do we have exponents? Do we have multiplication or division? Yes. Let's do that multiplication. 5 times 3. I'm sorry. 3 times 5? 15. Bring down everything else. The plus comes down. The 1 comes down. The minus, the 2. Everything else comes down. This is the best way to get the right answer, to do one step at a time and then rewrite everything else. So what do I do next?
You add 15.
Add and subtract. Just go from left to right. 1 plus 15 is 16. 16 take away 2 is 14. There's your answer. Moving on, number 5. Do I have parentheses?
Yes.
And what does parentheses actually mean? To zoom in and do whatever you can in there. What's 7 take away 2? 5. So check this out. I now have 5. I don't need the parentheses, but you could leave them there. Bring down the times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Final answer. Good. Number 6. Do we have parentheses?
Yes.
Yes. Let's zoom in. What's 7 take away 2? 5 again. So let's rewrite everything, guys. 7 take away 2 we said was 5. Bring down the parentheses, the 3, the minus, the 10. Just rewrite everything. Now we have multiplication here or subtraction here. What do we do first? Multiply or subtract? Multiply. Definitely the M comes first before the S. So let's multiply first. That's 15 minus 10. 5 is the final answer. 7, it gets fun on 7. Do we have P for parentheses? Do we have E for exponents? Multiplication or division? Yes. Do we have addition or subtraction? Yes. We have everything except for division. So let's begin with P, parentheses. Let's zoom in and do 9 take away 5. What's that?
4.
This is really 4, right? Okay, so let me zoom out a little and let me rewrite everything. So the 4 is in there. The 3's out here. The plus, the 2, the minus, the 12. Just bring down everything. Bless you. After that, we already did the parentheses. Do we have exponents? Yes, I do. Wait a minute. I totally forgot to put the exponent. This guy right here, 2 to the 3rd. For some reason, I just wrote down 2. So we already did parentheses. Let's move on to E, exponents. 2 to the 3rd is what?
8.
8. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down everything else. The plus, the 3, the parentheses, the 4, the minus, the 12.
Multiply.
And then, yes, multiply is next. 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down everything. You have the 8, the plus, the minus, the 12.
Now add and then.
And then add and then subtract. 8 plus 12 is 20. 20 minus 12 is, final answer, 8. Here's one of those cases where if you look at addition and subtraction, it says go from left to right, but in this case it doesn't really matter because if you did plus 12 with minus 12, that cancels out. It becomes 0. 8 is your final answer. But with multiplication and division, for sure, go from left to right. Number 8. What's inside of the parentheses? What do I get right here? And what do I get? 3. Rewrite everything. After that, we have addition, multiplication, exponents, subtraction. So we already did P. Let's move on to E. Here's exponents. What is 3 squared? 9. So I get a 9 right here. Let's rewrite everything. Now, if I put a 3 right there, the plus, the 2, the minus, the 25, if I do not put either multiplication here or parentheses, I might make the mistake of thinking that this is 39. So I would keep the parentheses on the 9 or put a multiplication dot or both. So now we're only down to 3 operations, adding, multiplying, and subtracting. We are going to add first. We're going to multiply first, I'm sorry. 3 times 9 is 27. Bring down the plus, the 2, the minus, the 25. Adding and subtracting at the very end. 2 plus 27 is 29. And 29 take away 25 is 4. Final answer. Number 9. What's the first operation I do? Multiplication. What's 6 times 4? 24. Minus 20 divided by 2. Now, why did I multiply first? Because the m's first? No, because it's first from left to right. So then I divide. What's 20 divided by 2? 10. So this guy over here, that gave me 10. So what I really have is 24 minus 10. That's 14 as a final answer. Number 10, we're going to zoom in into the parentheses. And on the inside of the parentheses, if you ignore everything else, we have addition, multiplication, and subtraction. What do you do first out of those 3? Multiplication. So you're going to have 3 times 5, which is 15. Bring down the plus 1, the minus 2. You still have parentheses. And now we're going to go from left to right. 1 plus 15 is 16. 16 take away 2 is 14. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have inside of the parentheses. Let's rewrite everything else. I have a plus 3 out here in front of the parentheses. There's my plus, there's my 3. I have a divided by 2 at the end. I'll put a divided by 2 at the end. So what do I do first now? Do I add or do I divide? Divide. What's 14 divided by 2? 7. We really have 3 plus 7, which is 10. We are done. Now, we are going to have a homework assignment. The homework assignment is right here. Let me pass these out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this practice has the solutions on the back side, so you could practice and check your answers as you go. And you probably only want to work on the first half of it. We're going to continue with the evaluating expressions tomorrow. Evaluate simply means plug it in. So we'll do the second half tomorrow. We'll review this whole thing tomorrow.